right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
Clouds clear. The timing on those clouds departure and when even warmer weather returns to the bi-state area.
Is St. Louis breaking records when it comes to water main breaks tonight? Our Verify team pours through the deluge of data. Plus, Congresswoman Cory Bush's personal security under new scrutiny tonight.
I have not used any federal tax dollars for personal security services.
Now the Department of Justice is involved.
More on those stories in a moment. We start with a developing story we have been following all night out of Ballwin, where 2 people were found dead inside a home. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Mike Bush. The discovery was made today on Sunny Slope Drive. That's in a subdivision in the area of Clayton Road and Kerrs Mill. 5 on Your Side's Annie Krall joins us there live with new information from police on what led them to that home. Annie.
Well, Mike, it was a concerned mailman who asked police to go and do a welfare check on the home just behind me because he said their mailbox was very full. Tonight, investigators are still trying to figure out what happened to the 2 people they found inside the home. In fact, Ballwin police came to this house on Sunny Slope Drive just around 3 this afternoon. Given the conditions of those 2 bodies found inside the home, the cause of death was not immediately known. Investigators are still waiting for more information from the autopsy results. The victims' identities have also not been released. Police say that as of now there is no threat to the community, but understand any concerns people may still have.
My only reaction was, well, we got 2 dead bodies in a home, and the city of Ballwin is probably going to draw some attention. So that was it, and I was just waiting to figure out what we had from the guys who were on the scene, and left it at that.
Now, we have been out here in this quiet neighborhood pretty much all night, and many neighbors have not popped out yet. As of now, we will get you new details online at ksdk.com, as well as on our 5 on Your Side app. Reporting live in Ballwin, Annie Krall, 5 on Your Side.
But it seems a little odd to me that they're going after it now.
Tonight, growing reaction over a federal probe into Congresswoman Cory Bush's spending. The U.S. Department of Justice confirming it is investigating whether the lawmaker misused campaign funds on her personal security detail. Tonight, the Congresswoman is denying any wrongdoing, calling the allegations baseless. 5 on Your Side's Brent Solomon has a closer look at the federal probe and new reaction from legal experts. Brent?
Well, Mike, the announcement of that federal probe coming just days after Cory Bush kicked off her re-election campaign. It's no secret the Congresswoman's husband is part of her paid security. At issue here is the question of whether that's considered personal use of campaign funds.
The Department of Justice is reviewing my campaign spending on security services. We are fully cooperating with this investigation.
When donors give to a campaign, that money has specific uses. Monday, the Justice Department issued a subpoena to investigate how Representative Cory Bush is using her donations.
This investigation is coming from the Department of Justice, the White House, not the House of Representatives. They already looked into this and said they didn't find anything wrong.
SLU law professor Anders Walker questions the timing of the probe.
Well, why would the Biden administration want to get Cory Bush investigated? Could be something she said they don't like.
Back in October, the Congresswoman posted this tweet referencing the Israel-Hamas war as, quote, ethnic cleansing. The U.S. must stop funding these atrocities against Palestinians, she said. Bush says she's been the subject of right-wing attacks. Since late 2019, she spent more than $750,000 on private security, both on Capitol Hill and here at home in St. Louis.
I retained my husband as part of my security team to provide security services because he has had extensive experience in this area and is able to provide the necessary services at or below fair market rate.
Now, when he began working for her, they weren't married. This is sort of a Kevin Costner movie. They fell in love. Technically, if he's on her staff, she maybe should have said, okay, honey, I love you, but you're fired. If her husband was genuinely doing security, I don't think they're going to find anything. If he was on the beach sipping a pina colada, sure, maybe that's some type of fraud.
Back in October, the Office of Congressional Ethics determined Bush hasn't done anything wrong. Still, the Federal Election Commission and the House Committee on Ethics are conducting investigations of their own. And within just the last hour, we got this statement from Bush's political opponent, Wesley Bell. He says, quote, a DOJ investigation into the potential misuse of public funds is a serious matter. As prosecutor, I understand that Representative Bush is entitled to due process. It is my hope that Representative Bush will cooperate fully with the investigation and be transparent with the public in responding to the legitimate concerns they are likely to have, end quote. Bell says he got into the race because he feels people in the 1st District deserve a rep they can trust and who will show up and get results for them. Kelly.
All right, thank you, Brent. Former President Trump is going to stay on Illinois' primary ballot. This after a unanimous vote by the State Board of Elections. The 8 members say they don't have authority to take him off. There was a motion to remove Trump, claiming he's ineligible due to his role during the January 6th Capitol riots. Supporters of the move can object to the board's decision by filing a lawsuit within 5 days. Illinois' primary election is March 19th. The deadline to register to vote in that election in person is February 20th, and for online registration, it's March 3rd.
It looks like we're rounding out the month with a winter warm-up. After a cool breeze today, it's 50s and 60s for the rest of the week.
Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell's here with the Weather First forecast. 60s.
Yeah, we're not getting there tomorrow, but we should get to 50 tomorrow. A lot of that depends on the cloud cover and how it scoots out. The timing on that will happen during the morning hours tomorrow from west to east, and heading into tomorrow afternoon, most of us should be mainly sunny, but like we saw yesterday, east of St. Louis, it takes just a little bit longer to get those clouds out of here, and it also means you don't get quite as warm. Boy, what a pretty scene tonight. The good news is the base of those clouds a lot higher than what we were seeing last week when we hit the low clouds and fog. There's still low clouds, but not as miserably low as they were last week. New low temperature for the day, we've dropped to 39 this hour in St. Louis. That picture doesn't show the clouds quite as well as this one does. See all that yellow there around the Great Lakes, right into eastern Missouri, all of Illinois? That's your low cloud cover. Back to the west, there's some little magenta or purple in there. That's where you have some high clouds that are filtering in. We should see the low clouds scoot out overnight from the west to east, starting overnight. But in St. Louis, we're likely to wake up to a gray sky tomorrow morning, sun by the afternoon hours, and then it will be warmer Thursday into Saturday. We'll see in a few minutes. We'll talk more about the weekend rain chances.
Looking forward to that, Scott. Tonight, St. Louis police are investigating after the bodies of 2 men were found inside a parked car in downtown St. Louis. They were found last night on Lucas Avenue. Right now, police are investigating the deaths as a drug overdose. Advocates with Prevent Ed work to prevent and reduce harms associated with substance use. The group says there is a stigma that needs to be fixed.
Stigmatizing people who use drugs is definitely not going to help the problem. When people feel stigmatized, it makes them less likely to talk about their experiences and less likely to reach out for help. So by reducing stigma, changing the language that we use, and also just viewing substance use disorder as a brain disease, that's something that can be incredibly helpful.
Missouri's 911 Good Samaritan laws offer protection from prosecution if someone calls for help in a medical emergency. Prevent Ed also offers free Narcan at their locations in St. Louis, St. Clair, Washington, and Union.
A manager at Popeyes in St. Charles has been cited after police say she repeatedly hit a customer on the head. This happened Sunday at the restaurant on Regency Parkway. According to police, the argument started when the customer asked for a refund for her large order after waiting 30 minutes. Investigators say surveillance video shows the manager came around the counter, grabbed the customer by the hair, and hit her several times. The customer went to the hospital to get checked out. Police gave the manager a summons.
The end of January brought 60 water main breaks in a single week in the city of St. Louis. Water experts say that's a common occurrence in the coldest months of the year. But last year, during some of the warmest months, water main breaks plagued the city. The city claims it's a result of aging pipes, almost 1,200 miles of iron or cast iron mains. Tonight, the Verify team's Ann Allred is crunching the data to see if 2023 really was one of the worst for ruptured water mains.
From a washed out Highway 40 to road closed signs on less traveled side streets, rushing water and cracked pavement felt like a constant last summer. But has the city of St. Louis seen more water breaks in 2023 than ever before? Let's verify. Our sources, Nick Dunn, spokesperson for the City of St. Louis Mayor's Office, Kurt Scooby, Director of Public Utilities for the city, and Metro Water Infrastructure Partnership. In 2023, the city had 359 water main breaks. The Verify team compared that number to the 18 previous years and found that 11 times the annual number of water main breaks was higher than it was in 2023. And from 2012 to 2018, the city had 7 solid years of main breaks, topping out in the 400 or 500 range per year.
About 2019, it dropped down to maybe in the 300s. We've had kind of mild winters since then. We've had cold snaps, but overall they're relatively mild.
The Director of Public Utilities says cold weather and water main breaks go hand in hand. But can they be prevented somehow? Scooby says not really. Breaks are random and unpredictable because most of the infrastructure is buried and out of sight. We can verify no, there have not been more water main breaks in the city of St. Louis during 2023 than in years past. Water main breaks were also in the spotlight last summer as a water rate hike was being debated. City government approved that rate hike in stages. The second increase, averaging $5 a month, went into effect in January. I'm Ann Allred, 5 on your side.
There is something that you want us to verify. Email Ann at verify@ksdk.com.
Tonight, we learned former U.S. Senator and Missouri First Lady Jean Carnahan has died. She became the first woman to represent Missouri in the U.S. Senate in 2001. She was appointed by then acting Governor Roger Wilson to replace her late husband, Governor Mel Carnahan. He won the seat in November 2000, 3 weeks after dying in a plane crash with their son Roger. She served in the Senate until 2002. Her family says she died peacefully tonight after a brief illness. Jean Carnahan was 90 years old. Former Missouri Senator Claire McCaskill shared her condolences on X today. She said, "Today, a wonderful woman passed away. Senator Jean Carnahan, who survived tragedy with grit and grace, a woman who served others both in and out of the public eye." And Missouri Governor Mike Parson posted, "A former U.S. Senator and Missouri First Lady Jean Carnahan will be remembered for her deep, abundant love for the people of this great state."